Okay, welcome back. Today we are looking at scoring. We're going to get straight into it. Let's go to one of our events. I will do high jump in another video as it's a little more complicated, but we'll definitely look through some of these other ones. Start with something simple, long jump. And we'll pick open boys. Okay, so here's our long jump page. To do scoring, we're going to go to our data tab. The data tab for long jump has 3 attempts for each competitor. Let's start with how we just simply add that in. As long jump is expecting a distance, we're going to have to write in something in meters. So for instance, 5.78. Now I can leave it like that. If I click anywhere, or if I leave it, it'll register. At the moment I believe it's made that green, so it's been registered now. If I just click away, just to ensure that that's happened. Yeah, I believe that has. So if you stop typing, after a few seconds it will record that result, or if you click away, and I'll show you that. So let's say if I change that to 79, click away, you see a little arrow glass come up for a second, and now it's got a little tick in it, just to indicate, yes, that it has been recorded in the database. And the reason we want to do that is because you don't want to have to lose data while you're recording. You can rest assured that as you're typing in, the data is being recorded, so should you lose power or should you lose internet connection, you've still got the data recorded and stored somewhere. Okay, so naturally there's 3 attempts, so I should show you how that works. Let's say his second attempt, he fouls. This is what the X is for, so you can just click X for foul. And let's say the last attempt was his best attempt at 6.40. Okay, 6.4 meters has been recorded. Just so you know, you don't have to write meters in there. In fact, anything after that, we'll just ignore that and understand that the units are meant to be meters. Just so you know. So you don't have to be accurate with that. Just type in the numbers and you're fine. Let's do a few others. Let's say this guy has... let's make Calvin our winner. So naturally we're going to have to do something less than that for the rest of them. We'll do 6.39. Just to show you that it's really... that is more than that. Okay, that's been recorded. Let's give him some other attempts. 5.3 and 3.1. And just a few more. You can see you just type this as fast as you want, really. Each of those little boxes will do its own update as you type in. Okay, that's all here. Let's go back to our results tab. Just to note, there's nothing here in the results tab until you refresh. You don't have to refresh. This is an unnecessary step, but I just want to show you that everything's been recorded and that the best result has been determined. Okay, so those were the best results from each of the 3 attempts from our competitors. So I just hit F5 to refresh. As you can see, yes, 6.4 was the best here. 6.39 for Dane. Right, that's correct. So there we go. Now, you don't want to give up placings and points until you're absolutely ready and you've checked everything and you go, right, that's fine, everything's good. And that's why we haven't got placings or points yet. That happens when we press update placings. So let's do that now. Okay, we've got our points and placings given out. And so with first place and 10 points, it's Calvin Rankin. Let's see how that's updated our main page. Okay, Light has got 10 points, Water's got 10 points, Earth has 7, Fire has got 4 points. I'm just going to check one thing. I'm going to go back, hold this open. So yes, 10, 8, now 6 and 5. Now isn't that a bit strange? 7 and 4, what happened here? And why has one person got 10 and 2 people got 10? Actually, the Water's got 10 points. What's going on here? Well, as a matter of fact, that is this setting. If you remember me talking about it earlier in an earlier video, if I go to my settings tab, this is adjusting the points according to the team size. I need to almost do a video of this on its own and how we actually calculate the points given out to and the adjusted points given out to those teams. But essentially, those teams who have got less players, their points get boosted. Those people who have less players have their points reduced. And it's essentially calculated such that if every single person tied that was in the event, it would all equal the same points. So I might actually show you that, for example. Let's just make sure I've got all my competitors added here. I'm going to need to do that. I won't add in all those guys. So these are all the competitors for that long jump. So let's just quickly kind of look through here. You can see that yellow only has about 3. So they're kind of at a disadvantage. And red has got lots. let's just go back through some of this. Okay, to keep things simple, I'm just going to put 1 for everybody. And you can skip. I'm going to skip it for you so that you can get to the point. Okay, I've now given 1 meter to every single player here. Let's update our placings. Okay, first to every single player. I'm going to explain the points here and what that's doing in a second later on, but have a think about this. If you've got so many red people getting the same amount of points, that team is at a clear advantage, getting those amount of points over and over, even though everyone essentially participated and did equally well. Well, that's not right. So those people, again, like I said, with the red team, they're going to get less points overall. These 2.55s are actually going to be less for the red people and more for the yellows, who've only got 3 competitors at this division. Let's go to the X-Men Day just to show you how that's actually being played out. And here you go. As you can see, everyone has done equally well and all teams have got the equal amount of points. But if I didn't have this fair game ticked, let's untick it and update the competition. As I showed you here, Fire is at a clear advantage. So is Earth, apparently, at a very clear advantage, getting way more points, and Light just struggling because they just don't have the competitors to compete against some of these other teams. That is the reason why this fair game tick box is here. Okay, let's go back to the scoring. And I'm going to remove all those 1s. Okay, I've cleared everything. I'm going to explain now what the deal was with the ties, which you may have seen just before. So, should someone tie for first place? Let's make that happen. Okay, let's update the placing. So, we've got 2 first places. Apparently a record as well. As you can see here, they've given both players 9 points. So, the way that this works, if I go back to my long jump, you'll remember that my first place gets 10 points and my second place gets 8 points. Well, what is essentially happening here is, because first and second place was worth 10 and 8 respectively, the total amount of points given out for first and second place was 18 points. So because the first place is shared and so is sort of second place, the 18 points for first and second place is shared among those 2 ties. So should there be a third tie, let's say this guy also gets 45 points, update the placings. We've got 8, 8, and 8. Why is that? Because 10 plus 8 plus 6 is 24, I believe. And 24 points shared among 3 first place getters will be 8 points each. So it's sharing the total amount of points. Essentially what's going on is ReadyGo won't give out more points for an event than you've deemed it should give out. And just so we can see, the same would happen for another rank. Here I've just made both 4th places tie. They scored 4.5 each. Should be noted that if you leave anyone blank, like this guy, Eric Lencher, it's implied that he did not actually participate. So points for participation are not given out unless some point of data has been recorded. Even if it's just 1 meter or a foul, participation points won't be given out. Let's have a look at that now. Okay, 11th for fouls, 1 point for participation. Okay, I think I've explained this event enough and how scoring works enough. Let's skip to another event. Let's have a look at 100 meters. And we'll have a look quickly at Open Boys because it has a finals. Okay, as you can see, this event has 3 heats because it's laned and there's lots of competitors. So we have our times that we can record here. And just like before, we can foul or we can give a recording. So for times, everything here is in seconds. So if they just run a certain amount of seconds, say 15 seconds, for example, you can just type in 15. It'll just change that to 15.0, but that's correct. Or 15.743, that's fine. If you get that, if you can actually do that detailed. And if you want to do minutes, 1 minute, 5.3 seconds, it'll update that. And it does a pretty good job of just figuring out what you meant and formatting that nicely. There's one more style that some people might be more familiar with if this is your thing. You can also write it in this style. If I was writing the same thing, if I was writing 1 minute, 5.3 seconds, I could also write it as the following. 1 with a little quotation mark or a tick. 5 with a double tick or a double quotation mark. or rather actually 5.3 with a quotation mark. So that's one format that some people use. If you use that format, that's fine. ReadyGo will accept it, but it will just format it into the other format, 1 minute 5.3 seconds. Okay, so let's put in a few times here for different people, something that makes a bit more sense. So 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, so we can clearly see who won there, which would have been Bruce, he's the winner there. And in this one, let's do something similar. 15.4, 14.6, 13.3, 12.9, 11.4. And someone from here, let's go 16.7, a foul, maybe 13.3, and 11.0. Okay, the reason I want to do this is we want to show you how we actually determine who won out of that. So right now, as you know, I've got finals, but I haven't done anything with finals. If you decide that you were going to do finals and you on the day you just decide, no, I'm not going to do that, that's fine. ReadyGo is just going to take the times from the heats and use them to figure out the placings. And it's going to look at all these times across all these heats and compare them all equally. So if we go to our results, I'm just going to refresh. We can see that in our heats, we had the following times be established for those people. And I can update the placings. And it's ordered them nicely now. At the top, first place was 11.0. And Dane apparently also got 11.0. I'm just going to double check that. Yes, 11.0 and 11.0 down here. So I might just change that so that it's a bit different. And update. Okay, that's a bit better. 11.1, so slightly bit different. Okay, so that's fine. But let's say you actually did have finals. Okay, let's go to finals. Now we need to actually progress some of our competitors from our heats into our finals. Well, there's two options here. We can choose the best from all the heats. So that's going to basically look at this here, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, actually 8 there. Those guys, because they tied for 7th. And it's going to choose those guys as our top 8, or whatever you want. You could do top 5, top 4, top 16, and do more heats if you want to. But whatever, let's just do top 8 competitors across all heats, and let's advance those guys into the finals. And there they are. Now if I come back to my results and update the placings, you'll notice that only 9th to 14th place have been given. And those that are in our finals, obviously we haven't established whether or not they've won those finals or what the placings were for the finals. So coming to our finals, let's now add some placings in there. 11.1, let's just keep it simple, 11.2. Okay, so our winner is T'Challa, and Jaquise, whatever his name is, got a foul and is going to come 8th in the finals. Let's update our placings. And as we can see, yes, Jaquise Canis, or whatever his name is, fouled. Although he didn't foul in his heats, he fouled in his finals. But essentially that's the time that I've chosen here to display here. And now you can see the reason why I've put the dash heats in, to indicate that that time was from one of the heats and not from the finals, unlike these guys. Let's just backtrack again though. Let's come back to our finals. And I want to wipe this out because I want to actually change how this works. I'm going to remove all these competitors. In fact, I'm going to clear the competitors by going to my final options here and clearing them. Yes. Okay. And this time, to progress people into the finals, I'm going to take the best from each heat. This slightly works basically similar. Instead of looking at all the competitors across all heats, it actually does take into consideration each heat individually. So let's just give an example of this. Now let's take heat 3 and let's make sure that they're strangely out of proportion. Let's go 17 and 18. Let's come to my results just to show you this. Okay. Now the best players from heat 3 were actually Matt Murdoch with a time of 16.7 and T'Challa 17.3. If you can see in the results there, Matt and T'Challa came 11th and 12th overall if you're just continuing across all heats. But if you choose the progression that the best from each heat should go forward, they're actually going to be chosen because in their heat, they were the top 2. Okay, so let's just look at this, how this works. We're going to advance the placings from each of our 3 heats in the previous round, the top 2 players from each heat. And then we're going to add additional competitors to make up a total of 8. And of course, those additional competitors are the next best 2, I think. Think about this. You've got top 2, 3 heats. That'll be 6 players. So we need an extra 2 players. Yes. So those 2 players will come from across all heats, and it'll be the best 2 from across all heats after those that have been advanced. So let's advance those guys. And this time, as you can see, T'Challa and Matt Murdock have made it into the finals, where they probably wouldn't have otherwise. So it just depends on how you progress people into your finals, how you do that. Lastly, if you just want to do this yourself, you can just go add competitor yourself and say, look, I want Calvin to be in the finals as well. Now that's actually going to be a 9th player, so we're going to have to split into 2 heats. But as you can see, we can actually just add whoever we want into the finals. If things go a little bit skewy for you, let's just finally clear this one more time and go back to best from all heats. And just give them just some simple times, very fast times. All right, let's update the placings. And here we go. 1 second, that was very fast. Something else that has also happened that I can just quickly show you while you're adding your points in and while we're now getting results coming in is for our divisions, top competitor or age competitor champions are established. So at the moment, it looks like Bruce Banner is our age competitor champion. And we can check that by actually going to Open Boys, going to our competitors tab, and we can actually see how much points each of these people have gotten across all the events that they've competed in. And as you can see, Bruce is our winner here with 13 points all up. I could also just click on Bruce Banner if I wanted to. And likewise, on his individual competitor page, you can see that he placed 1st here and placed 4th here. Okay, one last thing. Coming back to X-Men Day, you may want to be checking how the results are coming in, especially as a coordinator. You might want to be checking, are my results coming in correctly? Have I missed anything? Are there any events that I haven't got records for? Is someone lagging behind with the results coming in or something like that? That's why I added something under the Divisions and Events tab here for data entering progress. Let's have a click on that and just show you what that means. Okay, on this page, what you actually get is an indication of how many events have actually had their results recorded. And as you can see, my Open Boys have had already 2 results come in. But there are 3 events that have not had their results come in yet. And I can click on that and see that I've got no results for shot put, for 4x100 relay, and for high jump. If I go to events, I can actually see I've got 1 result for my 100 meters and 1 result for my long jump. And I can just click on the other ones and see what divisions I haven't got results for those events. So that's just a nice quick way to just check how the results progress or how the data recording progress is progressing, and if we're actually getting all your results in, if there's anything missing. Alright, that really is everything. Sorry for the long video, but there is a lot there, and I hope you can appreciate all the things that went into making that really usable for you. Until next time, bye bye.